Welcome back.
It is 5 o'clock.
Boston to New York.
Wait for Teresa and call the meeting to order.
Where their two hubs
Sandy, would you call roll call,
are. They
please?
wanted you to see those.
Councilperson Brenny?
Here.
Bruni?
Yes, here.
Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Here.
McGinty?
Here.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Tonight, item number 5 is citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. And if you have any questions or comments on any item on the agenda, you may address it as they are shown. Does anybody have any conflicts of interest?
No.
Okay, then we will move forward with 3, consent agenda. A, approval of agenda. B, approval of the minutes of the May 26, 2015 council meeting. And C, claims.
I will go past the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
And a motion has been made and seconded to pass consent agenda. Are there any additional questions or comments? If not, I would call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Bruni?
Yes.
You don't just
I'm
blame
Bruni,
me.
aren't I?
Perry?
I thought I heard an echo.
It's not just me they blame for this.
Item number 4, public hearings. Now is the time and the place for a public hearing on the possible vacation of Duncan Street, lying north of the center line and east of the east line of 17th Street and west of the west line of 16th Street, Early's addition of the city of Sac City, Sac County, Iowa. Now we need to have an introduction.
We need
You
to
want
wait a
to
minute.
close?
Wait a minute, have you had any written or oral comments regarding
I
that at all?
have not.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing on the possible vacation of Duncan Street as described in the...
okay, motion has been made. Is there a
Second.
second? Is there any other additional comments regarding that? Okay, Sandy, would you call for a vote, please?
Councilperson Bruni?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried.
Okay, now, we need an introduction.
I'll make the introduction of the first reading of the ordinance number 2015-265.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 2015-265 entitled an ordinance authorizing the possible vacation of Duncan Street lying north of the center line and east of the east line of 17th Street and west of the west line of 16th Street, Early's addition of city of Sac City, Sac County, Iowa. Are there any questions or comments or?
This is to rectify something going back to 1914 that had not been
Recorded at the time.
recorded, right?
Yes.
If there are no further questions or comments, we'll call for a vote. Sandy?
Councilperson McGinty?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Bruni?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank
Can we
you.
waive further readings of this?
This would be the type of thing it would be appropriate to consider doing, so, yes.
I would move to waive the second, can I move to waive both second and third?
You could do both in the same motion, yeah.
I would move to waive the second and third reading of ordinance number 2015-265.
I'll second it.
The motion has been made and seconded to waive the second and third reading of ordinance number 2015-265. Anyone have any problem with that?
Nope.
I would call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Bruni?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Item 4, public hearings. B is now is the time and the place for a public hearing on the possible vacation of Duncan Street lying south of the center line and east of the east line of 17th Street and west of the west line of 16th Street, Early's addition of the city of Sac City, Sac County, Iowa. Have you had any
No, I have
kind of
not.
communication at all?
No.
Okay. I take a motion to close it.
I would so move.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to close the public hearing. If there's no further comments or questions, I call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brenny?
Yes.
Bruning.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Now we would need an introduction.
I'll make the introduction of the first reading of ordinance number 2015-266 as described in B1.
Okay.
Second?
You need that was an
No, we
introduction.
need-
That was an introduction.
I'll
Make a
the
motion.
To approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, the introduction has been made, first and a second on the reading of ordinance number 2015-266 entitled an ordinance authorizing the possible vacation of Duncan Street lying south of the center line and east of the east line of the 17th Street and west of the west line of 16th Street, earliest edition of the city of Sac City, Sac County, Iowa. Are there any comments or questions regarding that?
This is the same situation as the previous one, correct?
The other half.
I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson McGinty.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
Bruning.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Would you also like to
I would
forego?
move to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 2015-266.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded to waive the second and third reading of ordinance number 2015-266, the ordinance authorizing the possible vacation of Duncan Street lying south of the center line and east of the east line of 17th Street and west of the west line of 16th Street, earliest edition of the city of Sac City, Iowa, Sac County, Iowa. Are there any additional comments or questions? I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson.
Yes.
McGinty.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes.
Bruning. Terry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Item number 5 is citizens' opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. Are there any? Bobby?
I just wanted to give an update on the chamber. We did not select a director, so we're in pursuit of again, for a director for our position. Also, I just want to give you an update. Chautauqua Days is pretty much online. The schedule will be printed and posted on Friday. We're just incorporating the all-school reunion into all the things so we can have one page out there instead of two.
Did you see my email today, Bobby?
About,
Sunday.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I already called and left a message, so we're all set. So
Thank
we
you.
did add this year a benefit on Sunday morning for fireworks for next year. So the money that comes in from that will go towards fireworks. The Lions Club has offered to do an omelet breakfast. So, and then we'll have a donation jar out too. So, and then all that, the Lions Club will get a little bit of it, but the majority of it's going to the fireworks. So I wanted you all to know that. Everything else is pretty much the same. We're gonna do this Scoop the Loop on 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night. Since the all-school reunion is here, we thought there might be enough people. So, but other than that, it pretty much follows the lines. Fireworks are set up, the 4-H breakfast on Saturday, the omelet breakfast on Sunday. So pretty full schedule with the all-school reunion, so.
Good.
Just wanted to let you all know that you'll see those flyers and the publication starting after next week.
Okay, thank you for your report.
And thank you for all you're doing to keep
Yes.
chamber going in the absence of paid leadership, shall we say.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need some on something. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. 6 is continuing business. A is Blue Space.
A very rough draft of the report has been presented. At this point, being that it is in draft version, we're reviewing it in-house, making proper corrections. And then they will provide us an updated version that will be submitted at that point. But we do have a rough draft that's in. They're starting to share a little more information with us. I know Bobby was asking about color scheme and color codes and stuff of that nature, and I know Nick was really quick at Blue Space about getting a response back to us. So we did have, there were a couple of things in the initial draft that weren't complete. There was also some things we wanted to see in it that weren't in there yet that we recommended that they needed to add into it. So, as I said, it's still in a draft. It's not really ready for public consumption. It's in a draft stage, and it should be ready here very shortly.
They have a time frame that they are expected to get this draft?
Well, see, it's not so much getting the draft done as this. They were supposed to come back and present it when they have it ready. So I think the bigger issue will be is scheduling a time with them, because of course we want them to come during a council meeting so they can do that. So I would expect that we'll be doing it sometime in the month of July. And they'll be coming in and doing that with us. I expect we'll get the final version that I can get in your hands by the end of this month. That was the discussion between them and I, was the end of this month.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, we'll move on to 7 miscellaneous, which is the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 2015-267, entitled an ordinance enacting annual water rates. I need someone to introduce it.
I'll make the introduction of the first reading of number 2015-267, entitled an ordinance enacting annual water rates.
For anyone who wasn't in attendance at the last council work session, there was a presentation by the water superintendent proposing the need for some improvements at the water plant. They involved an update of the SCADA system, which is the brain of the plant. The current system was put in when the plant was put in. So if that gives you an idea, you're running off of a 20-year-old operating analog-based system, I believe he said. We're starting to see critical failure concerns in the program, and we've received a recommendation to replace the system. And that is the bulk of what was discussed at the meeting. There were a couple other elements, line softening equipment, things of that nature that needed to be dealt with. It was pointed out that if we would have put a COLA into the system back when we put this into place in 2008, the difference in the COLA would have been enough to actually pay for the cost associated with it. However, after reviewing the budgetary plans, the expectation is that without doing something monetarily in the department, it would not be possible to pay for the loans necessary right now to deal with this. There were some recommendations made during that meeting. What you have before you is a draft that would include just a proposed increase in the base charge. There is no proposed increase in the per 1,000 gallon usage, only an increase in the base charge.
You have discussion or questions about that?
Yeah, do you still have the figures that he had of what the average cost would be on someone up to 4,000 gallons? Do you have that with you tonight, or?
No, I did not.
You call off the top of your head? Wasn't
I
very much,
can
but-
tell you that, I mean, the difference will be about $12 to $15 a year.
That's
Would
what
be
I'm
the
getting at,
difference. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, all we're talking about here is the base, Tom.
Oh, I know.
So
I just
that-
wanted it known how much of a difference that would be, for argument's sake, if somebody ever asked, we'd have it on record.
So it would be
That's what it is.
$1.25 for a usual, for a normal
Yeah.
residential customer, $1.25 a month,
Right.
which, if my math is correct, that's $15 a year.
$15 a year.
One thing I think we should remember is that if the people had to install their own softener and buy water softener materials, it would cost them a lot more than $12 a year. And if that wasn't in our water, it would certainly do things to plumbing and heating systems that are not good. We've had really a lot of experience with that in Breda, Iowa, where the water is not, and it eats up your faucets, and so
Agreed.
if we haven't taken an increase for a long time, I think this is not too bad.
So the meter sizes, so I know there's a $1.25 increase in the 5/8 inch. What are the, do you remember what the increases are?
They range up to $2. In the 3 to 4 inch, it gets up to about $2. That was originally 47, and it moved to 49. So, to give you an idea, it ranges.
They're proportional.
Yeah, it ranges up as you get larger. Understand though, in the case of the 2 inch and 3 and 4 inch, you're talking about 1 or 2 customers. Is the impact on the higher end side. Nearly all of our customers fall into the 5/8 category. I would feel comfortable saying 90 to 95%, Sandy, would you say, fall into the 5/8 category?
Okay, are you ready
I would move
to?
passage of ordinance number 2015-267, an ordinance enacting annual water rates.
I'll second it.
No, it would be the first reading.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, is there a second?
I just did.
Okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to pass the first reading of ordinance number 2015-267, an ordinance enacting annual water rates. Is there any additional comments or questions? If not, I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Rooney?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Motion carried.
7 miscellaneous B is consideration of amending the 28E agreement with East Sac County Schools regarding the Sac Community Center.
For some of our newer council members, the other ones, this is probably more old hat, but every June we have an update that includes the changes. Basically, it addresses what the amounts are going to be for the next fiscal year. These are originally built into our budget when we do the budget in January and February. So it's just a matter of punching in the numbers in every June, proposing an amendment to the financial element of the 2080 agreement.
Are there any questions or discussion around that, Curtis?
Curtis Blaze, what are the amounts?
For fiscal year 15-16, the city would provide $30,000, of which $1,500 is a contribution directed towards the swim team. Additionally, the school district for fiscal year 15-16 would allot $15,000.
Do any of those represent any changes from the year prior?
They do not.
Thank you.
Anything else to discuss about that? I'd take a motion to accept the amendment.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment of the 28E agreement with the East Sac County School Board and Sac Community Center.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept the amendment 28E agreement with East Sac County Schools regarding the Sac Community Center. If there are no further questions or comments, I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Rooney?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. C, 7 miscellaneous C is consideration of donating to Kids World, Inc.'s Night Out fundraiser.
In years past, the city has given some individual season passes. I would recommend providing 2 individual season passes
To the swimming pool?
yeah.
I would make a motion to approve donating 2 individual season passes to the Kids World Night Out fundraiser.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to provide 2 season passes to the Kids World, Inc.'s Night Out fundraiser. Anybody have any comments or questions about it?
Are those for this year then, or are they for
Yeah,
next year?
and remember it's an auction item, so kind of the expectation is it gives them some use out of it. Season's going to be half over by the time they get it, but they do get some use out of it. So. I think in the past we've done some punch passes and things like that too. But since there's a lot of discussion about eliminating punch, I know the poll manager has discussed the idea of potentially moving forward, maybe eliminating punch passes. I was staying away from that route in this case.
Okay, any other discussion?
Only thing on that note, it has been moved to the 27th, so
Okay,
yes, it did.
okay, I'll call for a vote.
Councilperson Perry?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes.
McGinty?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yes.
Rooney?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. 7 miscellaneous D is consideration of advertising to hire additional pool staff.
I would like to open the process back up and potentially hire some more pool guards.
Did we have some people leave?
Not, I don't believe so, but I think one of the things he's discovered, and I may be talking out of place here, but I think he's discovered that more of them have summer.
Other activities?
You've got softball
Yeah,
girls,
you've got other
you've
activities.
got basketball camps, you've got volleyball camps, you've got,
And having more flexibility with more potential fill-ins.
Sounds good.
I think particularly what he's looking for is to hire, what do you call them, subs, is what he's particularly looking at.
Any other discussion? Okay,
I would move to authorize advertising for additional pool staff.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded to advertise to hire additional pool staff. Any other additional questions or comments? If not, a call for a vote.
Councilperson Hanson,
Yes.
McGinty,
Yes.
Brennan,
Yes.
Bruning,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. E is consideration of changing pool policy hours to have reservations for lap swimming for pool to remain open from 7 to 8 p.m.
Let me see if I can explain this.
I thought we originally had it that way.
Well, you did, but what the pool manager has recommended is that instead of just reserving that time available for adult swim or lap time, that it be something you have to do in advance. That you have to notify them in advance that you would like to do that, and then the pool would remain open for you. It wouldn't be one of the things where it just sits open waiting for somebody to show up.
Okay.
Because then they pay when nobody's there.
Sure.
They have to wait around when nobody's there.
I'll remind the council, and just like when we had, sure.
My neighbor, right across the aisle, Megan Cook, she made a remark on her the other day that she sat down there the whole hour. Nobody showed up at all.
Yeah.
Does it get used much
Right,
for
that's
that
what she's
7 to
getting
8?
Well, we just did the pool lap thing this year. Last year we stayed open till 8, but you might remember we had some complaints about the pool closing
Right, I
at 7,
remember that, yeah.
and there was an issue brought up about the pool staying open till 8 so that the families that might go later could use the pool. The council set up to allow that time be for this purpose this time. And granted, even after the discussion last year, it's never been used much. Going back to Mike Fisher, this has been a discussion item. However, the council decided last year that we were going to remain open till 8, period. And so that's what we did last year. This year, we decided to set 7 to 8 for that particular purpose. And so now he's suggesting that the pool could close at 7 if they don't have anyone who's reserved to be there from 7 to 8.
Or if there's nobody there to swim. I mean, if it's empty, if there's nobody there, they'll close. If the
Well, now,
pool has
Barb,
a lot of
last
kids-
year, that was not the direction. Last year,
Okay.
the direction was, we stay open till 8 p.m. If that means there's one guard there,
Complaints.
we're going to stay open till 8 p.m. And that was changed this year somewhat. They're still open till 8 p.m. right now, but 7 to 8 is more reserved for a specific purpose at the pool right now. So,
So if you brought a family in, you can't swim from 7 to 8?
that's,
They
unless they're
can't
there
screw
for
around.
lap swimming right now, my understanding of the way the rule would work is it's designated for that use and that use only after 7 o'clock right now. Now, is it being applied that way? I can't tell you that, but
It
that's,
should be available for open swimming, shouldn't it, though?
it was specifically set up for lap swim from 7 to 8.
Well,
That
I
was
think
what
open
Kyle
swimming-
presented
I have
at
to
the
ask you to
beginning of the
stand
meeting.
when you
Yeah.
speak, please. We have to follow all the rules for everybody, so.
Ms. Barb?
8 o'clock wouldn't be unreasonable to keep it open for open swimming, would it?
That was the decision last year,
Yeah,
is that it
that's what I
would
think,
stay
yeah.
open for open swimming till 8
That's my own
o'clock.
opinion.
Thank
Now,
you.
we've traditionally not had a whole lot of attendance from 7 to 8, but you did specifically have 2 families come in complaining about that particular point last year.
You know, go ahead.
Curtis Place. Can I make a reservation to lap swim at 6:55?
I do not know. That I was just asked to present this to the council. I would assume we would leave it to Kyle to set up the details of how it would operate. However, I would say there would have to be a reasonable amount of time notice in order for it to work. Now, whether that reasonable amount, if the council wants to decide if that reasonable amount was an hour or 24 hours, the council could, of course, do so, or they could leave it to the pool manager to make that determination.
Manager needs to decide. We hired him to do that, and I think it should be the pool manager's decision. He knows what's going on there, we don't.
You know, and this may just confuse the issue some too, but, okay, if it's designated as lap swimming, which is primarily in the, deeper area, you know, the children's area, you know, which doesn't even encroach on the area where they'd be lap swimming. Any possibility of including lap swimming or the children's area as well? I don't know if that would
Well,
use it or,
my feeling toward that bill is if you were going to go that route, why limit its use at all?
sure.
If we're having such little use of the facility from 7 to 8,
But it hasn't really been that warm out yet. I mean, today's the first
Hot.
nice,
Yeah.
hot day that we've had. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got the entire month of July yet to go. And that's, I believe, when the complaints came in last year, if I remember right.
for the
End
use.
of July, beginning of
Yeah.
August is when the complaints came in.
But to both your points, the complaints weren't about lap swimming. The complaints
No.
were simply about access to
open.
the pool during that time period.
I
So,
guess
go ahead, go ahead.
I've heard so many good things about the pool this year, or the aquatic center this year. Even when you're seeing on social media people saying, it's awesome, we're having it, you know, thanks for rectifying what they thought were some problems before. And I don't want to get into a comparison, but I guess I would personally like to see us maybe let it go a couple more weeks and see what's happening. And if we need to go, if we need to have just, if it's not a whole lot of use, maybe get rid of the lap swim time and have it open till 8, if that's been a concern. But it would be nice to get through an entire year of a pool without people complaining.
Ain't gonna happen.
I know, to dream, the impossible dream keeps coming to my mind.
Maybe it's already past tense already.
It's too late. I got news for you. It's too late.
But at least without having to be accosted in the bank when you go to deposit a check because somebody's unhappy about what's happening at the aquatic center, this wasn't right or this wasn't right. I guess I would suggest that we maybe wait 2 weeks or
Just table it.
we table it or change it so that it's just open swimming for everybody if it's the lap swim that's the issue.
Are there that many lap swimmers? Couldn't other people swim and then people lap
Well,
swim
that's what-
too?
That's what Bill was getting
I
at.
mean,
Yeah.
That was
I don't
his.
know.
I mean, if right now we're precluding people who aren't lap swimmers from being there, maybe just say, okay, let's maximize its use, if you wanna come in. Unless, does it make a difference in the number of guards they have to have?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But be clear to my statement is that that's what the policy says. Whether that's the application of it at the pool, I can't answer that question. I'm not at liberty right now to answer that question. Whether or not they only allow lap swimmers in during that time period or not. I cannot answer that question directly for you.
let's find out more.
Yeah, let's find out first.
Chris?
Curtis Blaze, is this just a, I don't mean to say just, is this a thing to try to save money on paying lifeguards?
Honestly, it really shouldn't be because if we're talking about 1 or 2 lifeguards, Curtis, the amount of money we're talking about is insignificant.
What's the motivation? Do you-
I can't answer that, Curtis, other than the only thing Kyle said to me when he asked for it to be put on the agenda was that it pertained to the lack of use occurring during the month, during the hours of 7 to 8. And we've heard that from pool managers going back to Mike Fisher.
I think it's too early.
I do too.
Thank you.
It's gonna get good and hot here one of these
Yeah.
days, and
Yeah.
you might be surprised. People might be using it later.
It's too early.
I think closing it at 7 is early.
Yeah, I
Pools
think we
used
should-
to stay open till 9 o'clock.
I would move to table the item.
Okay.
You have a motion to table it.
Have a motion to table this. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to table. Any further discussion? Call for a
Leave it
vote.
as is with just lap swim. Correct.
Okay.
Actually, we've actually hired him to run that pool. I think we should let him do as he wishes. But
Okay.
Councilperson Hanson.
yes,
Yes.
McGinty. Brennan.
Yes.
Bruning.
Yes.
Perry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Item number 8 is public input on solid waste matters. Is there any tonight? Okay.
no shoot.
9 is the council forum.
I will remind the council that the Northwest Iowa League meeting is Thursday the 18th in Odebolt. that evening, and MediaCom will be the presenter that night talking about wind generation, wind power.
And Thursday evening is, if you want to,
This Thursday, and also notable at the community center, is the county kickoff for the Hometown Pride program with councils, foundations, individual, the local cities, committees. That's at 7 o'clock. We're providing hors d'oeuvres. There's a bar available for drinks. I mean, anybody who wants to come is more than welcome to do that. It's a good chance to meet the new Hometown Pride coach, who I've been very impressed with. And there'll be door prizes and a few other kind of things. So it's just kind of a party. It's a chance to get to maybe get to know some other people that you don't know in the county. And one of the goals of Hometown Pride is to get us all to play well in the same sandbox. So maybe we have to be able to agree to go to a birthday party together before we can play well together.
And as far as the facade project goes, there's still quite a bit of lassoing going on between Bobby and Steve and I, trying to get all the dollars in the door of those that are responsible for their first half amounts. And we have a handful outstanding we're still trying to get taken care of.
The Arts Council and the library are sponsoring a concert this Sunday at 4 p.m. is Jerry Barlow, I guess is his name. He's a Celtic guitarist, folk storyteller. It'll be in the area behind the library. Free food, free music. Bring your lawn chair, bring your friends.
So it is Celtic, not Kiss. I was confused at the last
Can you
meeting.
spray for mosquitoes?
Celtic.
They're terrible.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, it would be nice to have the area debugified.
Otherwise, people won't be listening up like this.
When is that?
Sunday at 4
Be
p.m.
slapping.
Well, one of the unfortunate things about mosquito, the mosquito material is it's contact applicated. So they have to be there before you spray. It does you no good to pre-spray before they exist. So they have to be there before you can spray. So this week is actually when we've been targeting for the first spraying based upon what we're seeing out there.
Good. There's a lot of big ones.
I looked up,
Kinda
I
like
looked at my
Minnesota.
backyard down the ravine, and it was literally hazy.
Oh, yeah. And they're large.
And hungry.
I've got something from the library. Kathy Haas is resigning, so they're looking for a replacement for her. They've already been advertising. I think they got 5 applicants, but they want more applicants. So, but she's not going to be leaving, I think, for almost a year yet.
Christmas is what I've heard.
Yeah, it's close to it.
That part-time, full-time?
Part-time.
It's an assistant.
I
Part-time,
didn't.
25
full-time.
hours a week.
I had one other thing. I didn't know if Curtis was going to bring it up tonight. There's been some developments pertaining to the Sunwise property, and Curtis, please fill in if I get any of this incorrect. There's now discussion between the DNR and the EPA that they would like to see a phase 1 analysis of the property completed prior to any action on the property.
That's not accurate.
Okay.
If, what's the accurate way to say this? If somebody buys the property or takes over the property, it's recommended for liability reasons that a phase 1 inspection take place. It's just simply that. There's no, the DNR and the EPA are just trying to get on the same page, but there isn't any talk between them saying one has to be required before the other thing can go. This is just about ownership of the property. Is that clear?
So basically, they're saying that before the property would transfer, they would recommend doing the EPA as a protector, as a protection for whomever's getting the property.
Yes. They'd recommend it to whoever's taking over the property that they get one. It's not a requirement.
And based on the conversation between you and I today, that would require a representative from Sunwise to sign off on allowing the,
Not necessarily. The jury's still out, but there's a 95%, yeah, I'm not gonna put a number on it. They're researching right now whether or not it can just be bought on a tax sale. If I'm using the term tax sale properly. There was some question about whether it could be or not, and that's been cleared up. They're gonna double check with the EPA, but these properties have been up for tax sale just historically whenever. So I'm anticipating that thing being available Monday for someone to pay if they want it.
if they want to claim
If
it
they
on
wanted to-
tax sale.
If they wanted to buy it, yeah. Or, yeah, clear up the tax.
Gosh, I hope somebody does.
Any idea on a time frame for, that inspection? And if there's much delay, would it adversely affect the DNR grant that we may possibly be getting for that?
The DNR grant is, it's hard to say. I mean, I'm getting in the next couple of days, I'm getting the agreement from the DNR. And then they want it cleaned up by the end of the year, or they want the asbestos abated by the end of the year. You have a year to do it, excuse me. And
That would put us to March of 2016 then?
I think it's a year from when you signed the agreement. So, how fast does the EPA move? And are we applying for grants to have them pay for the phase one? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered on that. It's just a matter of moving on to the next barrier and getting past it.
We scheduled a meeting for the 16th. Are we really going to be ready to have that meeting at this point, Curtis?
Well, it depends. The planning and zoning and the council could certainly start to get on the same page about dilapidated buildings generally in town. Because it sounds like there's a lot of discussion about that. It sounds like you guys are receiving a lot of comments about that. We're literally the commission that takes care of that. So maybe if we had a meeting so we can all have some communication together just to talk about that, that wouldn't hurt anything.
Okay, I'm just,
However,
Would it be possible to have a work session and have planning and zoning attend it? That wouldn't be an official meeting, we could actually, talk it out,
yeah.
come up with some good ideas
That
and
would
whatever
be-
the case may be, and then we'll continue from there.
And-
Mention that to
and
Curtis
was gonna be my
earlier.
next thing, to suggest perhaps a work session rather than a meeting.
I think that would be really good.
The problem with the 16th specifically is that I've already got 2 commission members that have RSVP'd, and a third one that probably won't be able to attend.
Okay.
So we'd be down to our minimum quorum anyway.
okay, so,
If we used our traditional time, that would be the 25th.
Well, and that's,
At
I
7?
can't speak for anyone about availability. So I just have to put the word out and start working that out. Would you guys be open to?
The mayor can announce plans for a work session at any time that works. So
I mean,
that's something the two bodies can work through.
Sure.
And the mayor.
Could we do a work session at the time of your next regular meeting? Which would be like a month, like,
July 16th? July 3rd Tuesday?
July, the third Tuesday?
3rd Tuesday of July would be our next regular meeting, after the June one.
And what time is that?
We have them at 6.
July what?
July,
I don't have a calendar.
July 3rd? Ooh,
Third Tuesday?
third Tuesday.
Oh,
That'd be the
you know what?
21st.
We are having that's right, we're having a special meeting on the second Monday for lunch. We're having a lunch meeting on the second Monday.
So that'd be the 13th.
No, I'm saying that wrong. We're having we're having a lunch meeting on the first Tuesday of July.
All right, let's try that again. July 7th.
That doesn't sound right either.
I know.
The first okay, let me clear this up. The first Monday is Quantus Day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Tuesday following that is the 7th,
Yes.
then that must be the day.
All right. The 7th.
Where is it?
Here,
Here at
So you
lunch.
Bring your lunch?
yeah, I mean, I guess we can get it here if you guys need us.
Let me know.
Want it, Katie?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have, I mean, it would, you can can certainly bring your lunch.
Is it at noon?
Yes.
July 7th at noon, here in the council chambers.
But, now that said, if we're gonna have a long discussion, that's not gonna work out for lunch. for very many people.
No,
Lunch
it
hour.
isn't, that's,
Right.
No.
How about we just figure
Stick-
out the time?
or stick with the normal night meeting time that you usually have, the third Tuesday, which is the 21st.
Okay.
Then the 4th of July is over and all that, things are kind of settled down.
Well,
And
we're gonna
then,
we're gonna have a special meeting anyway on the 7th, or whatever that is.
right,
And then we can talk at that time about having another meeting, a work session just with you guys.
okay, so let us know what they say about the 21st.
That would work.
Okay.
We'll probably know that, yep, never mind, people aren't coming, go on.
Okay, all right, is there anything else?
Yeah, I would like to bring up one other thing. You know, there's been quite a bit of news about the emerald ash borer, you know, in Iowa and other states as well. And it's, in all probability, it's, at least the experts are saying, it's just a matter of time when it hits our county too. Hopefully that's several years away or more. What I think we should perhaps consider doing is drawing up a plan for when it gets close, how we're gonna act, and which would include taking an inventory of trees. A couple of years ago, I took an inventory of City Park, the cemetery and swimming pool park as well. And there's quite a few ash trees that we have. You know, and if we had to say goodbye to those, it'd be number one, quite a tree loss for shade, but number two, quite an expense. It's gonna be really intensive work for the city crew. There was an article just recently in the Des Moines Register, just this past week, and it's an article written by Jason Brockman, who's a board-certified master arborist, and he makes a good case for, you know, deciding which trees you want to save and treating them, and a treatment lasts for about 3 years. Now the city of Kansas City's done it for $80 per treatment. I just happened to be visiting with Dave Snyder from Snyder Tree Service down in Carroll, and they're starting to do it. It's going to run about $50 per tree. But in this article by Jason Brockman, he'd mentioned you can purchase the chemical and, you know, do it in-house if you want to. So I think we should just be considering, and what I would think we would do is consider working with the Trees Forever Committee in conjunction with them, perhaps give them some direction as to what we would like to do so that when it does all of a sudden happen, if it does, you know, we have a plan in place to move and what we're going to do. I think of, you know, like the campgrounds that we have at Hagley Park and especially Lakeview, quite a few campers come in. All it takes is one bad load of firewood and now you've got a problem, and it's here. You know, so I myself plan on treating some of the trees in my house, or at my location, if it comes close. Hopefully there's enough lead time in order to do that. And I did have several extra copies. And if there's anyone else in the audience that would like a copy of that Des Moines Register article, I'll be glad to get that to you. I gave you one, did I?
Yes, I have one.
And
It says $30 per year, $80 to
for
treat,
3
but you
years.
only have to do it every 3 years, so you.
Right. Let's see, I got-
You boys playing nice and sure.
It's a lot cheaper than the cost of cutting one down and hauling it away.
Does it preserve the tree forever?
The treatment lasts for 3 years.
And then you have to, but
Then you'd
you
have
do
to
it
retreat.
again,
Yeah.
and it never really kills it, it never goes away? Am I understanding?
Okay, the treatment would prevent that tree from getting it.
Okay,
But, you know, let's say 3 years goes by and the emerald ash borer is still in the area, then
Okay.
it's gonna
Okay.
be susceptible again, and then you're gonna have to retreat before
and
the
if there
3
aren't
years is up.
any, then you could stop doing
Then you
it
could
when
do
they've
that.
killed them all off.
Mhm.
Bill, how close is it?
It's in Boone County and Polk County. I think Isn't
That's
that
pretty
the-
close.
That's
That's
in,
close.
in Story, I think, so that's kind of, and that Ames, area, Boone,
Okay.
those areas are infected, so, and they can jump a county or a whole area real quickly, so.
Mean little critters.
Very good.
Anything else?
So what would, do we need to put this on a future agenda for council action?
How about if we put it on one of our work sessions to get information and bring it in?
Sounds good.
Does that sound
You bet.
reasonable?
Yeah.
I mean, just so we can,
Maybe invite somebody from Trees Forever or whatever? What do you think,
I mean,
Bruce?
if we can have a plan in place, then we could act quickly. I mean, I would personally like to see us implement a plan and never have to use it, rather than not implement a plan and wish that we had.
Really?
I mean, that,
Are you suggesting we need to do it sooner than having a meeting about it?
well, I mean,
I think there's time.
I think that there's some time in there, but I guess what I'm saying is I would rather have us keep it in the forefront, and if we could, if we could do a work session about it and put perhaps an action item on the first meeting in July, so that we would have a plan in place authorizing,
And probably have at least a representative from Trees Forever
Yeah.
Committee at that meeting.
Right. Because I would argue the appropriate place for this to be developed would be the Trees Committee.
Right.
I mean, that's why the committee exists, is to be involved in the future development of trees.
And maybe the first step would be, I'd be willing to go to the Trees Forever their next committee meeting, present it to them and tell them what we are thinking about.
Yeah, I think the committee's president's wife is in the room tonight.
I mean, but I guess what I'm saying is I appreciate your information, it's great, but I don't want it to end here.
Right.
Can you just call a meeting? Or do you have a regularly scheduled one, but it's not like every month, is it? And it's whenever it's needed?
Yes.
So could you just call a meeting,
Yes, we can do that.
sooner rather than later?
Sooner.
Okay,
I mean, I guess,
I'll talk to you afterwards,
Okay.
Susan.
okay.
I
We'll
think
leave
it
it up
would
to
be
you
nice
guys.
if the trees could do it, come with a recommendation, and I would like to see us have a policy or something in effect that if it were here, it would just enact. We wouldn't have to worry about it.
And I would appreciate it if you would read that article over, and I think two of the questions you'd have to ask is, okay, are we gonna pre-treat if it does come into the area? And if so, which trees that we do so? And secondly, the ones that we decide not to treat, maybe start planting some trees
Right.
prophylactically in the event that this is coming. At least we've got a few years head start, hopefully at least, on those trees in anticipation that these surrounding ones are gonna be gone.
One
I
of
think
the,
that's important too.
one of the things I know that Hometown Pride has talked about is planting trees to replace those that may be killed with emerald ash borer. And one of the programs that I don't think we have tapped into, I believe is a DNR program that they will provide trees if you get kids from the school to help plant them. And I know that the city manager in Wall Lake said that they had more trees than they could possibly plant. They didn't know what to do with them all. I know we've gotten grants
That's
through
what the kids did on
Mid-American,
their cleanup day down there this year.
but I mean, if we could tap into something like that with the schools, that might be really a good thing to do.
Adam, I have a question. Are the trees that are on the parking considered city trees? Just curious.
Right of way is I would explain right of way as being more like a permanent easement of
Okay.
the city than anything else.
So that would
Gary.
be the property owner's
Correct,
responsibility.
and as far as our city ordinances have established, the maintenance and upkeep of those trees are the responsibility of the property owner. If the tree is dead or diseased, the city would then get involved in the process as partners in that
Okay.
in that area.
Okay,
Good question.
Curtis?
I just wanted to bring this up once again quick, because we got kind of sidetracked in the fun of calendar talk. I'm developing a timeline that includes the steps that need to be taken, a formal written out document that I can give to you all so that everybody can stay on the same page about where that project is at. Just so you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? Second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
I mean, call for a vote, I'm sorry.
Bill just doesn't.
I'm sorry, call for a vote, please.
Councilperson
Hanson?
Yes.
Yep.
Brennan?
Yes.
Rooney?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Thought I would get it.
Thank you, everybody.
Bill?